Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, October 11th, and today we will cover the trades, most of the trades for YieldMax funds, TSLY, CONY, Nvidi, Misti, Simcy, PLTY, and HOOY. And we can look at others. Just a quick update. I'm kind of redoing the format of my YieldMax coverage to make it a little more automated. So bear with me, hence the YouTube thumbnail, men at work, but it'll get there. So in the meantime, the show must go on. So before we get to, the fun stuff, I just want to clarify by looking at the calendar. This is the Federal Reserve Bank of New York calendar. They are closed on Monday, Columbus Day, October 13th. However, the New York Stock Exchange does not have that same holiday. So the stock market will be open this coming Monday, and the banks will not. So I know like there will be some deposit delays or something. Your brokerage may have told you that. So whatever, okay? But all we need to know, stock market's open Monday, which may be a good thing or it may be a horrible thing because Friday was pretty rough. Again, lately when the market goes down, it just bleeds like, bleh, but we'll see what happens. We got the weekend to maybe get something good out of it. But if it continues to go down, more pain to come. And we'll have to take it from there. Anyway, let's see what happened here on Bitcoin real quick. They're at 112,000. It looks like was around 520. This was when I was at baseball practice, so I missed it. 520 yesterday. They hit 104. And then 525 back to 108. I mean, damn. And then that's quick. That's a quick drop, and that is a quick jump. How the hell? 5 minutes from 111 to 104. Does anyone know why? I don't know why. But that's pretty nuts, isn't it? I don't know. I don't remember seeing anything a drop like that, but wow. All right. Moving on. Strategy. Did they do anything? No, they didn't buy any shares. They didn't do nothing. And I just want to show you again. This is the new spreadsheet I'm working on, and again, there's a lot of ideas that I have. One thing is to do a daily compare. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. So obviously, we'll do the daily comparison to show, compare the underlying MSTR to, of course, the ETF Misti, right? So obviously yesterday, you can see MSTR. It's actually not terrible. MSTR only went down 4.84%. Just double check the formulas. Okay. And then Misti went down 4.35. And then, we could see Nvidia, just quick. And then it shows the winner, Coin versus Coney, Tesla versus TSLY, Palantir versus PLTY, SMCY. I added Amazon. I'm kind of adding this in order of assets under management. Just again, because obviously they'd be the most popular. And we can look at the whole shebang. What I may do is just highlight, any changes, that jump out at us. But I don't know. What do you again? I'm waiting for some feedback too from you guys. Obviously, I'm going to track the outstanding shares. I do that through. Well, I downloaded the holdings for every single fund on this gigantic file, and then I'm basically pulling it from there because that's, to me, the most accurate data. There is a formula to pull from the website. It doesn't work all the time. Like, it's not working for these three. I'm not sure what's going on. And it's also like this, it shows 10,100,000 on OARC, and then here it shows 10,175,000. So, I mean, I have to think the download from the holdings is more accurate than that. And again, the reason I want this number is because I want to calculate how much they've made per share and how much they paid out per share. I want to do that for every fund. I know I don't think it'll be too bad to do that versus what I was doing. It'll take less time, but I want to show like the, the payouts month in and month out, tracking it starting 11/1. And then of course, in the process, just show you guys some cool stats like largest fund by OM, assets under management. Again, I'm showing Misti at 3.7 mil. I'm showing ULTY at 3.3 mil. So it's catching up. ULTY may be number 1 soon. And of course, Nvidi, number 3, Coney, number 4, TSLY, number 5. HOOY, someone was asking how come HOOY's not in the top 10. HOOY's number 11, so it just missed it. AMZ is a little more popular. And again, some of the formulas you saw on the other sheet are not working. Oh, wait, they're working. Oh, no. So, yeah, see, like this is not working. See, that's the problem. When you automate things, they only work, so much. And then, of course, I'm going to pull the distributions. And I'll need that in order to deduct out when I do the comparison. All right, if that makes sense. Like here, I added for Nvidi. All right. Anyway, that's the new spreadsheet. I know most of you are probably like, I don't give a damn, but that's that's the future. All right, so I'm not going to cover Misti trades like how you're used to. I'm going to cover Misti like I cover the other funds through the holdings. All right, so sorry for the letdown, but this is just, again, this is the way it's going to be. Let's get to it. So let's take a look at the Misti download. Again, I didn't really look at it. I just downloaded it yesterday. By the close, 162, 137. What's the strikes at? These were, I'm looking, I'm like, that's very expensive, but obviously the expiration date is for next week. So looks like they had positions open for next week and they closed them out early. And here's an example, 3,750 contracts, closed out to 357.50. And then they opened 3,750 contracts and they lowered the strike price down $20, wow, to 337.50 in order to collect an additional premium. Because again, they probably, profited the majority of what they needed in a short period of time since the market did tank. So they rolled their covered call strikes down, yesterday in prep. Again, we don't know what's going to happen next week. Next week could be another bloodbath. We just don't know. So obviously they're being proactive and taking the profit, majority profit, rolling strike prices down. Here, same thing, 352.50 to 337.50. Here's a 360. Where's the corresponding? There's no corresponding 5,000 contracts. Doesn't matter if by the close there. Let's just keep going. A lot of them, it looks like a lot of the contracts that they had open were for next week. So they closed them out early and rolled those strike prices down. And in the end, they had a realized income of about 17.8 mil. All right, so I'm going to go to the Misti file, but only for the holdings information. Again, this will all be eventually on one file. But, things take time, brother. All right, anyway, let's look at the synthetic position. They got a 330, a 345. Those both expire in November, over a month away. And then they got a 350 that expires closer to Christmas. So Merry Christmas, baby. All right, MSTR 304 now. So yeah, I mean, these are turning into gold diggers because if you look at the puts, right, they are very, very expensive to close. So she take my money. That's all I have to do. The baby is still sleeping, so I'm trying to be somewhat low. All right. Anyway, let's look at the covered calls for next week. What do we got here? We got the lowest strike price, 8% out of the money. Highest strike price, 14% out of the money. And they have a lot of them. They got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. All right. So that is the definition of scatter-doo. So yeah. We'll see. And then they got some credits, some long calls, some insurance plays. We'll see if they need that, if MSTR flies to the moon. But again, the way the market and everything's going, I don't know, man. I don't know. It was pretty brutal. All right. So here is, again, the value of the Misti fund, the assets under management. if you add up everything up here, right? The gold digger, the dude, the calls, the treasuries, where all the money is pretty much, right? Earning interest, cha-ching, cha-ching, and then cash money, baby. So that adds up to 3.7 mil. That comes to a NAV of $12.99, and the closing trade price is $12.98, 1 penny off. Let's check this bad boy out. Definitely did not add that right. Nope, I took the cash. Whoops. See. And by the way, good morning to everyone that is here live. There is so far 233 of you between YouTube and X on this early Saturday morning. I appreciate you all being here. I know it's early, and people say, why you do so early? Why you do so early? Well, normally on work days, it's because of work. Even to be honest, on the weekend, I can't be doing this later. There's always crap going on. People know, if you have kids, there's nothing. You got to get shit done early, before the chaos begins. Anyway, synthetic contracts, they total 122,000. Cover calls, they're selling calls on about 81% of the position. And what are they doing here? Well, credit call spread. Credit call spread, 27% of the 81%. So again, way out of the money for next week. And that's after closing and rolling their positions down. So, collecting that bank, collecting that premium, and we'll see. We'll see what happens next week, and we shall go from there. All right. So again, the coverage is pretty much going to be the same as far as these are concerned at the moment. So let's resume, and we'll check out your boy, Mr. Conehead. What did you do to your cone? Where are you, Conehead? Oh my God. Look at that. Row 139. Oh my goodness. Coney, the Coney fund manager, I can imagine him in the office yesterday. He was probably like, I'll never get home. All right, so where are we going here? What the heck again? Probably more of the same here. Let's just check it out. By the close, this was a 382. What the hell am I looking at here? Must have been early in the day. I don't know what the heck was coin price early in the day. These numbers, okay, here's more like it. 2 cents, a 385 for 2 cents, a 382.50 for 1734. I don't have a chart in front of me, but what was the market looking like early on in the day? I mean, that's a big drop. But hey, whatever. I'm not gonna dig too far deep in here. All right, by the close put, let's see. They closed out some of the 390 synthetic, and they closed out another 1,000 on the synthetic. It looks like maybe because people sold out of the fund, and then they opened new positions, obviously everywhere for next week. But whatever. It was a $14.8 million hit net with everything here. All right, we're not going to go through line by line, because ain't nobody got time for that. All right, so in the end, coin, yeah, they took a beat down. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, they did close out that one position probably at the open. But yeah, coin, rough day, man. Went down 8.4%. Coney did not go down as much, at least. It went down 7.59. Now, let's look at the synthetics. The synthetics, the 300 is still whooping ass, man. That one expires November 21st. And we got over here now, December 19th, the Merry Christmas one. That's a 390. So right now, not looking too pretty. Borderline gold digger, taking all your Christmas money. But let's look at the covered calls for next week. Again, next week, 5 trading days, right? 5 trading days. 5. All right, 2, 3, and 5% out of the money. Then you get a little buy call sandwich in between, and then you get 12, 12, and 14% out of the money. So, they're set up for next week to gain some upside. That is for damn sure, as was Misti. So, but we don't know. If the market opens up Monday, goes up 5%, 6% on coin, Coney's going to go with it for the most part, and still be out of the money. Let's take a look here. The value of the fund is 1.2 billion. The NAV is 708. What the heck is this thing here? All right, and then the closing trade price 711. Synthetic is actually, the net of the synthetic is actually still worth some money, brah. It's worth 18 cents per share, and that's actually a 33% yield. Again, that's based on the 13 payments a year, and as you know, that ship is sailed. That is over. YieldMax is now paying weekly going forward for every freaking fund, well, except a few like Biggie and all them suckers. All right, let's look at the synthetic contracts. They total 35,000. Selling calls on all of it, credit call spreads on all of it. 30-day IV. I mean, we didn't even get to look at Misti IV. I completely forgot because it's not even on the page there. Let me go to the weeklies tab. 68%. Not too great, but hey, it's much better. What the heck happened? I leave for a second and the IV goes away. Whatever. Income estimate 50 cents so far. By the way, they're part of Group C, and they declare next week. And a lot of questions are coming out with, oh, what are they going to pay? What is Group C going to pay? All right, so let's go through that real quick. So I have it down here, and I'll talk about this tomorrow on the guesstimate video. Group C, again, they're paying next week anyway, right? So there's no change, and they had the buildup of the 4 weeks. So they're going to pay you out the buildup of the 4 weeks. And then after that, Group C will be week by week by week and based on a week. And then Group D, they have the buildup of 3 weeks. So they're going to pay based on 3 weeks worth of data. And then Group A has a buildup of 2 weeks. So again, next week, they'll pay based on 2 weeks worth of data. And then, of course, Group B just paid last week. So they'll just have the 1 week worth of data. And then after next week, all 4 groups, well, there really won't be any A, B, C, D anymore after that. But all of these will be, week by week, whatever they earn for that week, boom, paid, boom, week by week by week. But just consider next week the true up week for C, D, and A. All right. So hopefully that clarifies it. But if you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, Group C declares next week. Well, everyone declares next week, actually. So I probably should have updated that. But yeah, anyway, that's the update on Coney. So now to you. All right, let's go to Hoie. 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 Where the heck are you at, Hoie? Where you at, Hoie? There you go. Again, I can't. These trades are nuts, man. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine. Day like yesterday. All right, let's see. Buy call, sell put, sell call. Okay, adding to the synthetic. That's fine. Buy to close, 3 cents. Chump change, closing out positions. Chump change, closing that out. Again, their covered calls, obviously very profitable. 99% and 98% probably. In the end, they brought in about 2.9 million of realized income. So stay tuned for that. Chico. All right, anyway, let's look at Robinhood, how they did yesterday. Wow, beatdown city. They went down 9.72%. And then HOOY, they went down, not all the way with it, but they went down 8.81%. All right, let's look at their synthetic. It's at 145. And for once, they're not ahead of their synthetic, as they usually are. But again, this is why you never, like when you get ahead of the synthetic, it doesn't really, what's the difference? Why cash it out? Because again, just let it be. Let it be. It's only there to mimic the movement of the underlying. So it's not like, all right, let's cash it out soon. Let's collect that income. Because, again, they'll have to open a new position right away anyway. So what the hell's the difference? But anyway, synthetic-wise, it's a 145, all right? And Robinhood is at 138. Covered calls, how they doing? They're 7, 7, and 9% out of the money. Are they safe for next week? I don't know. Again, it all depends on China and Trump. We'll see what happens over the weekend. Maybe we'll get some good news. Maybe they'll work together. All right. So what do we got here? Assets under management for HOOY is 230 mil. The NAV is 74.22, and the trading, yeah, close enough, 74.16. Synthetic prognosis negative, so nothing to report there. Synthetic contracts, they total 16,000. They're doing credit call spreads on the whole shebang. My IVs are not working, but whatever. Actually, you know what? I do want to see that IV. Let me refresh. Wow, yeah, look at Robinhood IV is 77%. That's impressive. Wow. That's good stuff, man. The premium. Oof. Was anyone selling puts yesterday? You could have collected a pretty premium. All right. Where we at? Income estimate. Now, I don't know, man. It's still $21, and they're gonna pay weekly, of course. They're gonna pay weekly, starting next week. But again, this next payment is gonna be like a true up, right? It's gonna be a little true up based on what they built up over the past 4 weeks. I'm sorry, 4 weeks, and it's a lot. So I'm really expecting Hoie to pay some bankity doo dah, brah. But I don't know. We'll see. That's tomorrow's video. Let's worry about today's video. All right, it's time to cover the Nvidi nerds because after all, they are nerds and they do like Nvidi. So let's see how we doing. No, how you do? No, how you doing? All right. So what do we got here? About to close 267. What the hell? All right, maybe they closed that a little early. Oh yeah, here's a 8 center. They closed that one later. 3 cents. Oh, penny. We like it. Only a penny. That's pretty much taken all the profit, all the juice out of that premium before they close out the position. And then obviously they open a new one for the next week. All right. In the end, for Nvidi, they had a realized income of 6.7 mil. All right. Open her. Now let's go to the file and let's look at Nvidia. Again, rough day for everyone, right? I think there was maybe one stock that was up. I don't know. I need a sip of coffee though. All right, there we go. All refreshed. All right, Nvidia went down 5.14%. Nvidi went down 4.5%. Now, if you look at the synthetic position, it's a 165 and a 170. Nvidia is at 183, and it's still freaking worth bank, even after the dippity doodah yesterday. Covered calls for next week, 5, 6, and 9% out of the money. I got a buy call sandwich in between, so we'll wait for that, see how that works out. The value of this fund is 1.7 billion. The NAV is 1575. Trade price around the same. Synthetic on the paper, 143, baby, 143. And what are they group? Group B. So again, they they just declared. So keep in mind, you know, they paid out their 4 weeks, right? Because they just declared. So next week, it's going to be based on one true week. So you'll get the feel, at least I'm part of Group B next week, the kind of payments to expect. All right. Anyway, synthetic contracts total 95,000. They're doing calls on all of it, credit call spreads on all of it. IV's not working. I'm not refreshing again, but income estimate 13 cents. But yeah, we'll see. Again, I have to do a guesstimate, you know, and I showed you briefly. Look at the spreadsheet. I mean, this is nuts. Again, we got group 1 with these suckers, and then we got group 2 with these suckers. And yeah, I got to do a guesstimate for everybody. Everybody, yeah, rock your body, yeah, everybody, rock your body, rock. All right, anyway, Platy's back. All right. All right. Anyway, back to focus here. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Are we even on Platy? No, we're not. We were on Nvidi. All right. So we're done with Nvidi though. Let's move on from the Nerd Fest and move on to Palantir. And let's go. Let's go. All right. What's Platy got? Platy's got by the close 4 cents. All right. Cheap. We can afford that. 10 cents. I can afford that even. So yeah. All right. Obviously, they're closed positions, duh, and they open new ones for next week. We'll look at the strikes in a sec, but that was a realized income of 1.5 million. I was about to say billion. No, million. Sorry, million. All right. How did Palantir do yesterday? Well, not so great either. They went down 5.72%. Platy went down 5.04. All right. Again, rough day in the office. Why did YieldMax funds go down? Well, sir, the underlying went down. Okay, thank you. All right. Anyway, synthetic is at 160. Palantir is at 175. So that's good. PLTY, how you doing? 4 strikes, 5, 6, 8, and 9% out of the money. So kind of scatteredy-doo. Someone said guestamania. You know, that's actually I may steal that, Jay's Birds. Credit to Jay's Birds. That's pretty cool. Guestamania. I may have a new thumbnail. Who wants to make me a thumbnail, guys? I suck at thumbnails. I need one of you suckers. Someone's like, do chat GPT or AI. I'm like, I suck at AI too. Like every time I try to like, yeah, can you make me this thumbnail? It comes out so stupid. But guesstimate, is it guesstimate mania or guesstamania? I think guesstamania is smoother on the tongue. Brother, are you ready for guesstamania tomorrow, brother? All right. Anyway, what are we doing here? What kind of show is this anyway? 5, 6, 8, and 9% out of the money. So again, they're set up for next week. We'll see how it goes. The value of the PLTY fund is 640 mil. The NAV is 60. Trade price around the same. Look at this. Synthetic on paper. On paper, I say, is 557. Synthetic contracts, 36,000. They're doing credit call spreads, you know, on the whole shebang, you know, calls, credit call spread, the whole thing, right? 30-day IV, 72%. Again, up and up, up and up. Now, what do we got here? Group B. Again, they're part of Group B. They just paid. So they're going to pay based on a 1-week cycle for tomorrow. All right. Up next, your boy, the Simcy. Suckers. 5 time. All right. Anyway, buy to close put. All right. What do we got here? Buy to close call, 55 cents. All right. Well, it looks, again, look, 1,500 gone on the synthetic, gone on the covered call. Again, probably some people selling out of the fund. That's fine. Normal process there. All right. Buy to close 2 cents. Chump change. Buy to close 150. 150. Again, timing of trade, I don't know. But obviously 150 is 150. And what they do, they closed it out and they opened a position. You could see at the strike price chosen, right? Because this was probably later in the day. They chose a 57. This was probably early in the day. They chose a 61. But whatever. They generated an income of about, what, 2.4 mil. Up in her. All right, let's get to the download of the holdings. SMCY completely got destroyed, got annihilated, got its butt whooped. It went down 9.69%. SMCY also got its butt whooped because its friend got its butt whooped. Its best friend, SMCI, got its ass kicked. SMCY jumped in, also got its ass kicked. It went down 8.41%. All right. How's their synthetic doing? They got a 40. It expires next month. It's doing fine because SMCI is showing a price still of $52. So ain't no thing here. All right. Covered calls, they got 3. They got 1 that's 7% out of the money. And then the other 2 are double digits, 13 and 15% out of the money. So, you know, they can handle all the upside next week. Let's go. Let's go. Monday morning, green everywhere Monday, right? Overreaction theater on Friday, green showers on Monday, right? Maybe. If not, I guess we're selling puts on Monday. I mean, whatever, right? Whatever. We'll get to my options trades after this. The value of the Simcy fund is 337 mil. The NAV 16, trade price same. And then we got the synthetic is worth 397 per share. They're part of Group D. So they'll have, what, 3 weeks? We said 3 weeks worth of data. So I'm expecting a pretty decent payment from SMCI. Check out their IVs, man. 84 to 96%. I mean, that is freaking sweet. I mean, I always say they're one of the more underrated, you know, but again, of course, their underlying is risky, right? They got in trouble with the auditors and they really, have they saved face yet? I don't know. But whatever. You know, their IV is juicy. That's all we know. So yeah, obviously we'll talk about their guesstimate tomorrow. Now we'll go to your boy TSLY. Again, the OG. Again, the new format. We'll have a little more time, so we could cover, you know, an additional fund here and there. I'm thinking about doing like a X participation, right? Having a vote each week for people to choose which funds to cover. I don't know, you know, something fun, you know, interaction, right? Interaction is good. All right. So how did TSLY do yesterday? Bought a close 24 cent, bought a close 39 cent. Okay. Okay. Is that good? Okay, Cletus. Yeah, that's cheap. That's cheap, bro. Bought a close, you know, whatever. Cheap to close out, obviously, their contracts. And they opened new ones for next week. And it looks like they generated a pretty bunch of premium totaling about 7.6 mil. All right. I can use 7.6 mil. I don't know about you guys. Tesla, how you doing? Well, yesterday, actually, not that bad. They went down 5.33%. Tesla went down 4.71. All right. Now, how we doing here? We got two synthetics, a 415, essentially at the money, a 420, a little behind on that one, but they both expire next month. They got time. We'll see. We'll see. Tesla strike prices are scattered-doo, 4, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, and 9% out of the money. So we'll see how that goes. Yes, they have credit call spreads on freaking everything. Now, the value of the Tesla fund, 1.2 bill. The NAV, 808. Trade price is the same. Synthetic is not really, yeah, no, and that makes sense. It's negative 3 cents. That's fine. Again, they're selling calls, credit call spreads on the whole shebang. IV on Tesla on the up and up as well. Again, market got extremely volatile yesterday, which is good for options premium numbers. You know, brah, 62 to 71%. They're part of Group A, brah, and they declare when. Just kidding. There is no groups. There's group 2. No, there's group 1 and there's group 2, and they both pay every freaking week. Okay. So get your crap together. But anyway, yeah, I'm taking all this out. You know, you're not going to see the groups and the dates. But like I said, this is like a makeover. We're working on it. All right. We're working on new content. You got to move with the times. You can't be an old fart with the same old freaking stuff. I'm even going to change my thumbnail. All right. I'm going to change my thumbnail. I've had the same thumbnail for probably, I'm not even kidding, like 1.5 years. I use the same thumbnail every day, which is not good. If you're a YouTuber, that is probably the worst thing you could do. But as I say, I am one of the worst YouTubers out there. You know, hence I use the same thumbnail when I do daily videos. So everyone, when they search for a video, like, oh, that's the same exact thumbnail. I'm not going to click on that. And of course, my thing has a date on it, so it's date relevant. So if that date passes, oh, I ain't definitely watching that. But you get what I'm saying. So, like I said, any thumbnail masters here, feel free to reach out if you want to help a brother. Anyway, let's look at SLTY. Let's see what kind of trades they had yesterday. Again, this is just income outgo. And again, I'm not even sure if I'm pulling this right because I don't know if they would pull the other transactions, right? So if we look here, what I got? We got dates. Where's column? Columns. I got any filters? Call and put. Yeah, that's what's coming up. Well, I guess maybe it's all right for now. But again, we'll get into that. So they made money. They made about 168,000, and mostly from BitDeer. So thank you very much, BitDeer. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, let's look at ULTY. If they make money, no, they lost about 19 mil. Who's the biggest problem? MP Materials. They lost money on their call input here. And what do we got here? Again, this is just income outgo. It doesn't mean necessarily the underlying lost money because most of these they do hold the underlying, so there could be obviously cash value on that. But yesterday was, again, it was a beatdown of all sorts. Rigetti lost about 7.5 mil. Again, you can see here mainly from the put, and then yeah, nothing too exciting. Just again, more coverage from the beatdown. that the market had. Let's look at what they're holding currently. What do we got here? We got Bitmine, Hims and Hers, Robinhood, Open Door, man, 146%. That sucker's been killing me. But, you know, that's kind of what I get. What do we got here? The overall assets under management of ULTY, 3.3 bill. The average IV now is at over 100%. So, you know, could we get more than 9 cents? Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. ULTY did not even drop that much. They're at $5.31. They only went down 2.82%, while the Qs went down 3.6%. So good job, ULTY. I mean, that's pretty damn good if you think about it. That's a good day. That is a good day. This is why people love ULTY. Again, you're not getting the crazy upside, but you are protected on the downside, right? You're protected, and it's kind of working. It's kind of working. All right, let's look at SLTY. SLTY is not working. Okay, interesting. I can refresh and hope for the best. And SLTY is still not working, so that's okay. I did have this tab of new coverage. I'm kind of, again, how I'm going to view like each fund. Here's like a summary of, I guess I could add yesterday's date. So yeah, let me get this filter here. We're going to pull, where's the date filter? Here it is. So we'll pull 1010. Actually, let's get rid of these others. We only want 1010. All right, so we'll do that. All right, so all we have is 1010, and then you can see like by fund how much each made on the call, how much each made on the put. You know, by expiration date, which would help you. Okay, so obviously this would be the synthetic. All right, so Biggie made some money on the synthetic, and then they lost money on the call. You know, same thing here. Well, actually, no, there's no synthetic there. But if the synthetic date kind of represents the short, you know, call date, it'll make it a little harder to read. But for the most part, the synthetic dates will always be further dated. So again, just a little new format that we're going to get used to. And then the group's value is becoming a little less relevant now that we're switching to weekly. But yeah, it's, again, there's a lot of changes with YieldMax. Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting for sure. So yeah, let's hope my spreadsheet still behaves. Again, I'm still going to use the same spreadsheet. You can see I already color coded the first week, so we can see the green will be the 4 weeks worth of, you know, payment. The purple will be 3 weeks worth of payment, and then the orange, you know, the last time we care about these letter groups will be on the guesstimates really for next week. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Again, it's gonna be fun, I think. I know people are bitching because they have to change their spreadsheets. And I get it, believe me, I get it. But to be honest, the timing of this is perfect for me, because I think, you know, I was already in the process of changing my whole thing, so might as well change it all together. Yeah, so I like it. Anyway, so that's the YieldMax coverage. I'm gonna get into my options coverage, which probably, you know, it's not gonna be much better because I kind of got my ass kicked a little bit too. So, all right. By the way, should I put on some music? Let's just chillax a little bit, right? Music on what, level 30 or something? Into space. That's kind of how I felt this morning. I was in space. I was watching as I was my spreadsheets were done earlier. I was watching some wrestling. I was mentioning that. Let me look at the comments. What are you guys doing? All right, so talking about ULTY, Nikki said good morning. All right, anyway, let's get to it. So Misti, 1298. Wow, yeah. Was that on? Okay, 1298. All right. So Misti's in the $12 range. You know, that's rather painful to look at. But as you know, I had covered calls on Misti, 2 at 14, 2 at 15, and 1 at 15.50. These expire on October 23rd. So far, they look rather safe, but again, we're probably not going to stay down here for too long. But if so, then obviously these calls will expire worthless, and I could sell calls on them again for the next go round. All right, let's move on to TSLL. Again, as you saw, the whole market went tankity doo dah. I didn't have anything expiring yesterday. Or if I did, I already took care of it and we talked about it. Now, if we look here, I only opened one new position yesterday. I sold a put with an expiration date of November 7th. That's a 28-day DTE. At the time, TSLL was at 1847. I sold a put at 13. That is 29% out of the money. So obviously pretty safe in my eyes, at least. The delta was 0.12. And the premium paid 45 cents per share, which comes, again, one contract, that'd be 45 bucks that I collected. And that actually comes to an annualized yield of 45 bucks. So not bad. So I'll take it. So for the week, TSLL paid me about $115. So, hey, I'll take it. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Because TNA, I don't know if you guys remember, but I was basically moving on from my TNA position. All right. So as much as TNA dropped yesterday, the 35 was still 17% out of the money. This thing is safe. So this 35, that expired worthless. Now, check this out. The covered call on TNA, it was 42. And I was going to let it get assigned. And at the time, the market was at 42. TNA actually went down to 42. I mean, do you believe that? I could have rolled it for a lot of money, but I did not. I said, you know what? Game plan is still the same. Let the shares go. So I let it be. However, after hours, TNA did drop to, let's see if I can pull it up for you guys. Show you. Okay, let's see. Pull this over here for you guys. So if you see here, TNA dropped after hours to 41.93. So what does that mean? It just means that when you do options and things expire on the Friday, just because something at 4 p.m. is at a certain price, doesn't mean it's over. The contract, can change. Like things, the after hours matters. That's the bottom line. The after hours matters. And how do I know that? Well, my 42 expired worthless. Believe it or not, I still have these shares. Again, normally, right? Probably would have got called away at 42.65. I would have got paid 42. Fine, great, fantastic. However, again, after hours did drop to 41.93. So dropped a little more after hours. So guess what? This wheel continues to live on. So this wheel will not die. And look at that. I own 100 shares and 0 are covered. So, hey, I'm back in the game, baby. So as much as I wanted to start my new TNA wheel, hey, if TNA drops to whatever price next week, I'll be here. I'll be ready. Again, 35 is the highest I'll go on the puts, but I'm ready. I am ready. So again, this is good news. This is actually good for me because to be honest, I love selling covered calls and I can be aggressive as hell. Well, I could do 40. I'm probably going to do 42 again, or I may do 45 or 50, or I don't know. It all depends what happens Monday when the market opens. So hopefully that makes sense. The moral of the story is after hours matters. All right. So if you don't want something to happen and you think it's close, by 4 p.m., you may want to take action yourself and make things happen. All right. Let's look at open. I had a put. Again, this thankfully was a low strike of 7 because open to 757. Like what the heck happened? But regardless, 757 is above 7, so this put expired worthless. I do have puts that expire the following week, 7 and 6. Those are still safe. But I do have an $8 put for Halloween, and of course a covered call for Halloween, which I could probably honestly close for an overall profit, but I did not look at that. As far as open is concerned, again, I have 100 shares, selling calls on all of them. And let me hide this. Normally these fields are hidden. How's the music, by the way? All right, so I did not make any money on open this week. Okay, so that's right. So I did not make any money on open. I'll make that a 0. Let's move on to AMDL. I had a put. Again, this put was opened on September 18th, expiration date yesterday. This put was $9. AMDL or AMD ran up. AMDL, of course, ran up. And even after yesterday's drop, this thing was still 47% out of the money. So this thing expired worthless. And yeah, bye-bye. All right, moving on now to some other suckers. RCAT, nothing new there. ST, well, get ready for this. Well, again, I did have one put that expires next week. This is a 250. I mean, that's 60% in the money, but that's not even the worst part. This is the worst part. Remember, I did this D-Gen play. I did what, 7 contracts? I'm like, might as well take a gamble. Again, on the occasion, I will make stupid plays. This is one of them. So I did 7 contracts, which I never do. And I sold a call in the money, which I never do usually, 14% in the money, $3 strike. And now look at this thing. It closed at 156. And guess what? The damage is not even done. Check this bad boy out. Ready for this? This thing dropped 32% after hours. Like, you know, to kick a man when he's down. It's at now $1.04. So yeah, this risk versus reward for me, not quite worth it. So obviously, yeah, I had to put up $2,100. I did get 1,050, but it looks like, you know, in the end, I'm going to be a bag holder of many shares of ASST. It looks like 800 shares. So again, there's a couple of different things I could do. We'll see how next week comes out. I think it dropped after hours because they added new additional shares. I'm not so sure. But the bottom line is, if you see a ticker that begins with the letters ASS, you know, use that. You know, you take that into consideration. That may actually mean that's what the fund is. All right. And so far, that's what the fund is. I'm not saying things can't turn around. Of course they can. But right now, I have a decision to make. Like, should I just roll this out another month to see if at least just collect a little more premium? Because I would be in no rush to get these shares, because again, the fund's at $1, $3 being the cost basis, it would have to go. It would have to double twice. Well, not double twice. It'll have to go up. I mean, way too much. But you get the gist. Sometimes you make bad plays. Again, I was doing things kind of out of my comfort zone, and this was one of them, and it did not work out. It's not over. All right. It is not over, but it's, again, stupid moves. You play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. And this was a stupid prize. All right. Anyway, let's move on. BMNU. This put is still has a fighting chance. Again, I had a strike of 20. This thing, I could have cashed it out, but it paid me 400. And at the time, I forget, it wasn't worth it for me to close it out. But now here we are, and now it dropped all the way down to 26, right? That's even cheaper from when I opened the original position. So I may actually continue to trade this one. Probably going to be done with some of these others. In fact, I'm probably going to hide those tabs and stick to, you know, what I'm usually good at, TNA, TSLL. And I'll add this one, BMNU, just because the volatility is there. But yeah, it's still it's still doing good. But anyway, leaps, nothing new there. My TSLY put is actually, it's worth $50 on top of what I paid for it. So, you know, if I closed it, I would have got like $565. Again, I paid $515, so that would be a $50 profit. I decided to wait though. To me, $50 is like, whatever. Plus, I didn't know, like, if Monday tanks, I at least want to make money somehow, and at least I can make money through this put. Again, while the other, part of the portfolio goes down. But again, this is why people say, hedge your portfolio. And again, I'm getting comfortable, trying to do, well, I hedged like TSLY, bought a put, and the market going down is like, okay, I welcome it for this transaction. Now, if I bought a put on TNA, I'd be making a lot of money, right? If I bought a put on Open, if I bought a put on ST, like, hello, we'd be doing very well. But again, this is all new to me, so I'm not gonna rush too much. I'm gonna skip over the open positions, and I'm just gonna explain how much I made for the week. I did make 1,198. Again, mostly because of that ST play. So I am happy. I did make all this money. However, there's going to be a capital hit on ST. It'll help offset, my taxable income on the options at least. So if I do decide to take the loss, it doesn't, it's not that big a deal. But again, it's just a lesson learned. I'm still learning lessons as I go, and it's all good. I don't care. I'm not that, upset about it. It is what it is. I knew going in, making that trade. The only thing I actually feel bad about is my friend made the same trade, who never does options. And I'm like, this trade's not going the way I thought, but it's all good. Anyway, what do we got here? Again, I made more than I made last week. So it's good money. Good money. Anyway, let's go to my balance, and then we'll do some Q&A, and then we'll call it a day. Current balance 55,000, available cash 34,000, total invested into stocks, ETFs, whatever, 20,000. I do have 10,000 in pending puts, which is actually not that much. So liquid cash is 24,000. So 43% of my total portfolio is in actual cash. Again, this would have been 50 if that TNA call got assigned, but whatever, I'll take it. It's fine. 43% cash. That's a good spot to be in when the market is about to, or if the market did tank, and it may tank more. So I'm in a good spot to, be a little aggressive on the put side. I could buy leaps. I could do different things, and it's nice. I'm not even sure if these numbers are accurate, but withdrawable margin, trading margin, way off each other, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I have to go by the withdrawable margin anyway. So yeah, it is what it is. So that's the update on my options. Hopefully that helps people out. For anyone that's in the wolf pack, I will see you at 10 a.m. Because we are going to have an options, I'm not going to call it class, an options group discussion to just talk about options. Again, that's the idea. I used to have something called the Wheel Warriors. I canceled it because I didn't think it was worth the value. So I felt like I was ripping people off in a way. So I had to get rid of it, because it was just, I don't know. I don't have the time to do something like that. But anyway, the Wolfpack still remains. So what we'll do is we'll utilize the Wolfpack for anyone who wants to do further discussion on options. So I will do a 10 a.m. Wolfpack discussion, and I will send the StreamYard link to those that would like to be part of the actual video. Because again, it'll be a video that'll be posted and a live discussion, which you don't have to put your face on. You can actually put a blank thing on, but I'll leave that up to you guys. If you want to be part of the live, discussion and get the StreamYard link, let me know. Everyone else, they could just listen and talk in the chat like normal. All right, so that's kind of the update on everything. Again, oh wait, no, it showed 111 for a second. I'm like, what the heck? Anyway, let's do some, we'll turn the music up a little bit, and then we'll do some some comments. All right. What are you guys doing today? We have 518 of you through X and YouTube. Thank you for being here. Wow, John Reynolds, 24,000 in YieldMax. Damn, brah. Congrats. That's a nice payment. You guys and gals are literally spoiled for choice. Who's spoiled? I don't get it. New show opening at the gallery in Michigan. Good job, brother. Share your picks, brother, in the Discord if you can. You gotta check out the rocks, right? If you smell la 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 la, what brothers rocks are cooking. There he is. Scott is here. Welcome, Scott. Good morning. All right. Haha, I have a degen side and sometimes it comes out. Yeah, that's the problem, right? And sometimes it comes out and it works out, and sometimes it kicks your ass. But yeah, Friday was kicking our ass. Yep, it's hard slinging that rock. It did on ST. Yeah, well, ST again, we saw it in the name. It basically told us in the ticker, you know, this is ST. So GDXY is still the king of YieldMax. How about that $1 dividend yesterday? It is. It's a good fund, man. Underrated for sure. You know what? Let's check out the. Let's see if my assets under management is working. Let's go to stats. What is GDXY? Yeah, 195 mil. Like this one, it should be ahead of AMD for sure, in my opinion. I mean, it should be like up here, like behind PLTY probably, at least a 500 mil, because it's gold, right? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, Cletus. Underrated. All right, what do we got here? Z Trust, always, not Z Trust, Z Dubs, always faithful. ST Total Butterfish. Did you guys see that video of Howard Stern, and they showed some butterface thing and the girl was actually good looking? I don't know. I was like, what? I don't get it. Like, how would they even, they tried to make her look ugly, and I don't know. But anyway, let's see. At least I am not alone in getting my ass. You are not. You are not. And you can watch me fight out of my position. You know, I have thoughts of doubling down, you know, because I don't give up usually, and that would be even dumber. But hey, I'm known for making some questionable decisions. Don't follow me because you get your ass teed. Rod, you and GDXY are both golden. Look at that silver liner. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. This hardware syrup, shiny rocks. We got some rocks, rock links here. Misti going weekly means they technically never paid us under $1. That's true. For the 4-month and 1-month payment, Misti has paid over $1 every single time from inception. That's a fun fact right there, Z-Dubs. Because even this one coming up, right? What do we say? This one is Group T, 3 weeks. So this one doesn't count, all right? It's not 4 weeks. So anything 4 weeks and 1 month, you know, that's how we doing. All right. Wolf, you're debating that as well. Hey, we'll go down with the ship, right? Expecting 0.2 to 0.25. Again, if we could look at like one, let's look at one for fun. All right. So anything that is a white sell. This is going to be, 1 week. We'll look at GDXY, right? Let's see if the IV is working. So see the IV estimate? Where's the IV? It's over here. All right, so their IV is 42%. So obviously I'm taking the price times the IV divided by 52 weeks. So GDXY, you're looking at like 13 cents. All right, simple as that. If you look at the price change, let's see if I track this. Well, actually the price change is not going to be, it's not going to be good for anyone actually, probably for after Friday. But again, I'm tracking the price. Where is it? 10.6, which was the Monday. That was the opening price. And then of course, this is going to have the drop in the distribution, which I'll probably have to add back. So again, I need to think about how I'm going to do all that, but in due time. But you can see I already did fill in the IV estimate. So to get an idea of how much you're going to get paid on each one, here's like a little sneak peek, right? Misti 17 cents. All right. But again, the next payment is going to be 3 weeks. So this is not for the next payment. This is for the payments after that, essentially. Babo 15, SMCY 26. They have a high IV. PLTY 83. Ooh, 110, baby. GMEY is not working. I don't know what's going on, but the IV is not working for GameStop. Very annoying. Very annoying. All right, whatever. Let's go back to Bitcoin. Let's see if we're at the moon. Are we at the moon? $1 million of Bitcoin? No. All right. Anyway, let's catch up on some comments and maybe we'll end it. Yep, ST went to $1.05. Yep, we saw that. We're getting whooped. Just make it 50 cents at this point. I don't even care. Whatever. Well, yeah, I answered that, Nikki. Hopefully you saw. How is everyone returning or figuring return of capital for taxes? Well, I'm going to wait for my 1099 and I'll go from there. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I do. I just assume I'm paying taxes on all of it. 20 to 25 a week. You wish. All right. Not gonna lie, I was going through withdrawal, not getting my Misti trades and strikes. Oh yeah, I know, Z-dubs, sorry, but a lot of people are gonna be not happy about it. But trust me, I think this is better coverage because it's just too much work and effort for not even, going through everything individually. I think more at a high level, these funds are it makes more sense to manage them that way. We're still going to look at the trades, just not like not piecemealing each single thing, right? There you go. Scott signs off on my distribution payouts there. But we'll see tomorrow, though. We'll see tomorrow. Again, the guesstimate video is going to be, I don't even know how. I'm just going to have to go fast. I'm going to have to talk like Ben Shapiro and just like go ST to get new ticker. Ugly. I don't know. ST is pretty relevant to how it's performing, but maybe that'll bring you good luck. Grandpa trades. He's pointing at something. Good morning, Black Mamba. All right. I will probably pay taxes. I sold Misti and Coney because they were starting to suck. Scotty too hottie. We appreciate you, brother. Yep. Scott's everywhere. Thanks for being here, Scott. Thanks for being here, all 554 of you. I think we're gonna end it. What do you guys think? Game over. End the show. Saturday morning party over. Again, stay tuned for as I revamp my coverage. If there's certain things you guys definitely want to see, then I will try to, do that. Again, I'm trying to make it as automated as I can without, ruining the whole damn thing, if that makes sense. But yeah, feedback is always welcome. So leave that in the comments down below. And yeah, again, it'll be work in progress, hence the thumbnail, Men at Work. But as always, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And this video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, hey, we could try tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be fun. Oh, I've already forgot it. I got to write this down. Guestamania, right? What do you think about that, Scott? Guestamania. That's going to be a YieldMax Guestamania. That's the new ticker, the new thumbnail. I'm going to write it somewhere. Someone remind me, or someone make me a damn thumbnail, right? YieldMax Guestamania. All right, what do we got here? All right, so everyone's saying bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, anyway, all right, Scott approves. Good. Now, Scott, can you make thumbnails for YouTube? Can you make me a thumbnail? Keyword, yeah, exactly. There you go. Dividend Degenerates got it down. By the way, guys, you got to give Dividend Degenerates some love. We got to get his YouTube channel blowing up here. And we'll give you a proper shout out in another video for sure, Dividend Degenerates. But we're at the end of the video. So if you guys enjoy this content, please hit the like button. If you have any questions or want to give feedback on the new content, please leave that down below. Outside of that, it's keyword time. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it to me, Scott, and all these other suckers out here, you got to type in the keyword. And the keyword today, brother, is Guestamania, because tomorrow begins Guestamania, where you got all the tickers, brother, in one video. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. I think the little one's awake. If not, he's awake now. But yeah, tomorrow will be the first Guestamania video. YieldMax Guestamania video. Why is it Guestamania? Because every single fund is gonna have a freaking guesstimate. So it's like a Royal Rumble, like brother said, right? So it's a battle of who's gonna have the highest yield, who's gonna win, who's the best fund ever. Anyway, maybe we're having too much fun right now, but I think I'll end it there. Like I said, keyword Guestamania. So you got to type that in. If you're on X, you got to type it in. If you're on freaking YouTube, you got to type in the comments after the video is posted. All right. I'm out of here. I'm done talking. I pretty much have no voice already. Yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching live. Thank you for watching after. And I hope everyone has a good weekend. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Later.